Hi there, Danny Gonzales with IndustrialSage. I'm here at Automate 2025. I'm at the Acme Manufacturing booth. I'm here with the CEO and fourth generation owner of Acme Manufacturing. This is Fritz Carlson. Fritz, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Danny.
All right, so for those who aren't familiar with Acme, what do you do?
So we're a machine tool company that specializes in material removal for grinding, polishing, buffing, deburring, and cutting. And essentially what we're doing is what I refer to as subtractive. So we're removing material to produce a better surface finish on a variety of usually metal products.
Okay, so what would be some of the top industries? You said you have several different kind of industries. What would be some of the top ones?
So we sell to about 20 industries globally. We're heavily involved in aerospace and jet engine manufacturing, medical devices, foundry, consumer products, hand tools, lock hardware, heavy truck, agriculture, off-road construction, just to name a few.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. So what are you showcasing here at Automate?
We're showcasing a robotic deburring cell that it's a standard solution that we provide for the aerospace industry for root deburring on airfoils, and it provides a more consistent surface finish, edge break, removes burrs, and it also is a time saver when it comes to versus having it being done manually.
Okay, that makes sense. What kind of efficiency you're picking up if you were to do it manually versus this automated solution?
You know, it depends on the application, but we have some applications where, you know, you're going to take a 4-hour manual operation and do it in 20 minutes. So you're talking about, in some cases, huge cycle time savings, but you're also producing a better quality part versus letting a human do it by hand.
Absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious, how long does it take from a training application to kind of get somebody up to speed from an operation standpoint? I know it probably is going to vary depending on the application of the machine, but
So generally, when a customer will engage with us and purchase a finishing system, we generally want to train somebody who is a hand finisher that knows process and understands that. And so we'll train them on how to use the robot cell, and we find that you get a better operator who's been a hand polisher versus an engineer that you train that doesn't know hand polishing. So our best customer operators are people that basically came from the manual world of finishing.
And they're probably very excited saying, whoa, this is amazing.
Actually, it's better, we call it the 3Ds, dirty, dangerous, and dull. And it's really, it's better for the operator because it's not hand finishing parts is generally not a healthy job to have in the first place, but if you are trained to operate a robot cell, it becomes a higher skilled paying job, and it's actually safer for your workers too.
I think that's a great solution. One question I'd have, just relative to that training, I think you hear a lot about automation. The narrative outside of the industry, automation's taking away jobs from people. We all know that right now there's a big labor challenge, so there's not a whole lot of people to actually do those jobs, so it's not really taking jobs away. But how are you helping to kind of train them up, or is that something that you guys are helping with? Or
so what I would say is there's probably about 600,000 unfilled manufacturing jobs in the United States right now. So there's a huge labor shortage. When you hear people say, well, robots take jobs from people, generally robots are taking jobs that people don't want. They don't want a job for hand finishing. So the narrative about robots taking jobs, taking jobs from people it's false.
Right.
And really, the labor shortage with all the demographics and all the aging population that we have in certain parts of the world, including the U.S., labor shortages are only going to grow. So the way that companies can address that is through automation and robotics.
Right, and given all of the conversation and the narrative around reshoring and building back more of America's, manufacturing backbone, it's great, but the labor's kind of not there.
Well, we also need to start training at a very young age, you know, kids, and teach them more about about why you should be in manufacturing, and get them to kind of follow more of a STEM program. And you know, I have many employees at Acme that did not go to college, but they developed a skill. And you can, if you have a, you know, so these skills are valuable to companies like us, especially in the business that we're in, because there aren't a lot of companies that do what we do in the world. And so if you have trained somebody over the years, you know, 10, 20, 30 years, they don't have a college degree, but they have a very unique skill that's valuable to us as well as our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the skills training and it really exposing people right to the industry, because I found that when you do that, there is a lure in it, and it's like, wow, this is actually, I didn't know this was possible, and this is actually really amazing. We're actually making things, things that, you know, you interact with in your day-to-day life every day.
I mean, I will tell you that when we get people visiting our facility that have never been in a facility where there's robots, when they leave, most people are in awe, because they think that they're going to walk into this really dirty place, and it's not. It's very bright, it's clean, and it really kind of it provides a very good impression about, well, you know, I've got kids that, you know, maybe they don't think they're going to go to college, but I want to make sure that they can get into develop a skill where they can have a very good standard of living. And you know, what I generally tell people when I do presentations is, like, learn how to program a robot and you will have a job for life.
That makes sense, absolutely. And you know, and having visited your factory, I think I've been there 2 times. It is very clean. It is very, you know, it's very bright. That's another thing too. You know, a lot of times, you know, some of these older facilities, sure, maybe the lighting isn't as great, but it was very clean, very. You have white floors, or I'm trying to remember.
Epoxy floors in some areas of our factory. Yes.
So it's a very different perception. It's a very different feel. To your point, and so I think that's it's fantastic, and it shows, and it helps to present that in, you know, a great light. So
we need more kids to go down the path of automation, learning robotics, and again, you don't have to go to college to have a great job in this industry.
Right, absolutely, and I think that's going to continue to grow, and we're going to see that narrative play out more and more as in the next several years and decades really come out.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, our future depends on it.
Awesome. Well, Fritz, thank you so much for spending some time just kind of sharing with us a little bit about your insights on the workforce, obviously what you guys are doing. I think you guys do have some pretty amazing, really cool technology, and just thank you for your time.
Right, thank you, Danny.